Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Peace and power and elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. Live in effect. So tonight topic is dealing with this whole claim that I've done heard for a very long time. But this is my first time actually addressing this whole thing. This claim about okay, excuse me. Let me fix myself up. All right. So there's this claim that if you do alkaline water or alkaline diet, that it brings about cancer resistance and that disease does not survive in the alkaline environment. And I heard this numerous times, but it really got me asking questions because everybody knows who Moneybag Yo is, right? So Moneybag got his own little water brand, and it's supposed to be alkaline water. He did his advertisement. He had all the cups with the different water brand, and then he had one with the Sprite. And then he took the little liquid color thing to like show and prove his argument. Let me see. I'm gonna have somebody on here. All right, I'm about to bring you on, brother. I'm about to bring you on. So I got somebody who's going to get on here and help me out because this brother knows a lot about diets, especially when it comes to like alkaline and acid diet and things like that. So he's gonna help me out with that. But there's been this claim about this whole thing about how alkaline is supposed to be cancer resistant and diseases don't survive in alkaline environment. And I don't know how true that is. So the question becomes, well, where's the clinical research? Where's the clinical trial? Where is the medical research to prove that? Where's the medical research to prove that? I mean, where is all this information coming from? Have you spoke to immunologists or epidemiologists or virologists, bacteriologists? Have you spoke to anybody that's in these fields that can verify this information? Because it's very detrimental to tell people that. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring the brother on here real quick, and he's going to break this down for me and explain why that the information may not be very conclusive and it could be pretty detrimental and falsified. So let me bring on brother Trez. What's up, brother Trez? How you doing? What's going
Peace,
on?
peace. What's good, sis? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yes, I had
Uh,
to bring you on because you know a lot about this subject. You talk about it so much on the page. You know what I'm saying? So Brother Trees is a part of Team Osiris. As you guys know, I was a former member of Team Osiris, but you know, I still have a good relationship with this brother. So yeah, you talk a lot about diet. You talk a lot about vegan diet. You talk about the protein diets and all different stuff. So I want you to be able to touch on the alkaline diet and versus the diet deals with acid, and also talk about why is it detrimental or why it can be very inconclusive to say that, oh, if you do alkaline diet that it's cancer resistant, and not only is cancer resistant, but disease cannot survive in that. Why is that very inconclusive and can be very detrimental? What do you stand on it?
Thank you. First off, firstly, I would say, I know a little bit about some of these different topics. I would never say I know everything about it. But how we think about it, though, right? That's the kind of stuff that I talk about is how we think about these things. I don't get into acid diet versus alkaline diet and one is good and one is bad because that's really not how it works with the human body from what I've been reading about and watching qualified people speak about stuff like that, reading journals. You have something called a pH scale, right, to begin with. So everything, all the matter that we intake or whatever, or that we don't for that matter, just everything sits somewhere on the scale. It's like from 14 to zero, or I forget how it goes, right? But seven and a half is like the midpoint between acid and alkaline, right? So like different parts of your body operate at a different, you know, pH. So your blood, for instance, might be like 7.5 or whatever it might be. Don't quote me. it operates at a certain pH number. Then you got a different part of your body, like maybe we'll say like your bladder or something like that, that's like at a different, pH, right? So, and then your stomach, right? Is that a yet another different pH, right? That's more on the acidic side, so it can help you break down food. But as far as like what you eat, we don't really have to spend a lot of time, arguing about, oh, I want to make sure it's no acid, or, it's just all alkaline. Like, that's kind of stupid, that's kind of frivolous and silly. And it's a part of what I call, the food wars, right? That people be having with themselves internally and with other people. But basically, I'm a proponent of, a whole diet, less processed is better, that kind of thing. But whole diet meaning omnivore diet, right? Plants, animals, fungus, bacteria, you know what I'm saying? All of these things uh we consume, and we can digest and sort of use the nutrients, right? But yeah, so I really try to stay away from, because I be seeing, I see people out there still having these wars about, how they're eating, but it's like you're not really gonna make that great of an impact on your life by deciding I'm only gonna eat stuff that's alkaline or whatever. So that's that, just in general. Now, when it comes to the convo you was talking about with the alkaline water, and somebody I think was quoting that no disease can live
No
in an
disease
alkaline
can't
environment.
survive in the alkaline environment and it's
Yeah,
cancer resistance.
so that's a popular thing that gets said a lot or whatever, but as it relates to the human body, it doesn't really matter, because we're not a completely, alkaline environment that's at one pH, that you can change anyway, right? So none of that really applies inside the body. Once you're in there, depending on where it is in the body, you got a different pH number that you're dealing with in that area, and that could mean XYZ, right? You have to be dealing with a particular issue at the time, speaking to a doctor to know what it is that's going to happen because of that. But uh, I made a joke when somebody was making that comment, I think on one of your posts, where I said, that's cool, that's great that if you took like a petri dish and put some cancer cells in the alkaline water or something, it wouldn't survive. Or you put it in a bottle of alkaline water, okay, maybe it won't survive. But we're not a bottle of water, right?
Yeah, I
That's not
remember you
fair.
saying that.
The human body is not a bottle of water. We way more complex than that. So I'm just more concerned with how we think about things, right? Rather than what you think, or what perspective you have. Is just, are you using your logic to sort out what it is that you're dealing with here? So no, we're not a bottle of water. We're not a closed environment that you can just change the pH at your will based on what you eat. Your body is still going to maintain a particular pH no matter what you eat, and that's just that. So that's my spiel on that.
Okay, now also another thing, I think people get a lot of things confused about uh, cure versus remission, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to like the body healing itself from various disease and things like that.
Hmm.
So now, for some reason, people think remission is interchangeable with cure, and it's not. So where is the difference? What's the difference between cure and remission? If you can explain
Okay.
that to the audience, what's the difference?
Yeah, from what I know about that, cure, we'll start there, is like something that's real rare, firstly, but something that can happen naturally. You can be cured of something, or an animal can be cured of something, or something that can be induced through medicine, right? To eradicate the reproduction of whatever pathogen it is that we talking about at the time. Um, a lot of people get carried away with cure. Cures are great, but at the same time, we are perishable items. We are creatures that there's never going to be a time where we can really say we can cure everything. Even if we get to a point where we can say we can cure a lot of stuff, it still won't be everything that you can cure, right? So that's not really, it's not really feasible to think that anybody's plan or method or eating plan or anything like that is gonna ensure that you're cured of anything. Although a lot of people might say that, right? Um, but all you have to do with that kind of stuff, with claims and stuff like that, you don't have to really go back and forth. You just have to look at, okay, what is the results in the hospital with the actual people that are saying that they eat this way or did this plan, this, that, and the third, and they're at the hospital now, and it did not cure whatever they thought was going to be cured. That's what you look at the end of the day. So that's up to the individuals, when they're having their personal health journeys. Um, but so it's not to say you can't have cures. You can have cures, but it's something that has to be rigorously, tested and shown to work on the population and so on for however long before you can say, okay, yeah, you have a cure for XYZ, right? So then now the next one is remission. Remission is probably more common with like the top issues that we might see in Western society or whatever, as far as ailments go. So remission is just basically when you have a condition that sort of it goes into an inactive state rather than
Mm-hmm.
being active at the time. And we have a lot of that, that we don't even know about, that goes on in our bodies or whatever. Um, Probably happens at a higher rate than us being cured of things or whatever, is where you have things that go into remission. And some of that happens with, just nature, like your immune system might naturally going ahead and put something in remission that you might have as an ailment, or induced through medicine again to make you go into remission, right? To give you some extra time on your life if it's something that could take your life or something like that. Um, what I see a lot out there is people are promoting being healthier and living a little healthier and stuff like that, right? Whatever the details might be, it doesn't matter, right? Because this encapsulates all the different social groups that talk about you should live this way in order to be cured of this, that, and the third, right? This is all of them. um I forget what I was going to say next, but so with all of those groups, they're looking to cure something, is what I was going to say. They're looking to use the term, we want to cure you of XYZ, when in fact they're actually dealing with sending conditions into what we call remission, right? And so you might have some disingenuity going around. With people being a little disingenuous with those kind of words, and people that are not really familiar with the health field or whatever, sort of being duped thinking that they're cured or something, and then it ends up not being the case. They're not cured, right? They got to go back to a doctor, and they told, hey, you got this going on again. It wasn't cured. um so, what people probably should do, if I'm gonna recommend something, is to embrace the idea of there being something else other than cures, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can say, look, I want to help out, right? And I got this eating plan or this tonic or whatever it is that I want to sell, or advice I want to give. That's cool if you promote it in a way that is not disingenuous, where you say, look, this might help send your stuff into remission, right? You eating healthy, you exercising, and stuff like that, taking in less calories than you burn, and yeah, than you burn or whatever. You're doing this kind of stuff, you can send stuff into remission and sort of have a better quality of life. When you sell things like that, then it makes more sense, and it's not like, oh, you're trying to get over on me and play on my emotions by saying, oh, you're gonna be cured, you just got to subscribe to this, lifestyle or whatever. So that's pretty much, all I have to say about that. I know it gets real, like heated. People get personal, and
Mm-hmm.
insults get thrown, and People are agents now, and and all this stuff, right, goes on. So I try to sidestep all of that by just kind of talking about the information, and allowing the open ears to go ahead and receive that, what I'm talking about, which is real basic. I try not to get too far left into things, you know what I'm saying?
All right, right, and I agree with you now. Um, One of the questions I would ask anybody that say they can cure, so-called cure, or that alkaline can bring about disease resistance or whatever, I would ask for credentials. And the reason why I would ask for credentials because that's where you can be able to go and look for evidence to verify these things. If there's lack of credentials, then I cannot really trust the words. You know what I'm saying? And especially if your products say that if it's not FDA approved. Now, if your product says that, because a lot of times you have to put it on the back of the bottles or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to say not FDA approved. So that
Right.
lets me know right there if it's not FDA approved, then I can't fully go by what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I can't go by the fact that you say it's a cure or whatever because you might try to sell me some snake oil. You know what I'm saying? It might be some form of quackery or something. So I have to be able to like see evidence when it comes to hearing about things like this. So when I seen this topic, I said, okay, where is the credential? Where is the research? This is where you got to get medical experts involved in this. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go by taking a little liquid and putting it into like cups and things like that to see if it's going to change its pH or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, I can't go by that. I need to see medical experts showing and proving that there's an actual, like you said, actual cancer cell, right? And you put some alkaline in there and see how is it going to react to that alkaline. You know, but yeah, that's where I stand on that. Also, just when people make the argument about acid, like, oh, you don't need no acid in your body, you just need alkaline or whatnot. Well, you have to think about this. Well, you got DNA, and DNA is made of acid, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
don't even gotta. Yeah, that when people
you
try
know,
to drag, people want to drag you into semantic conversations about, what you don't need and all this, and it's like, look, the evidence is already there. Our bodies do use acid, right? Different types of acidic environments in different parts of our bodies, and different areas of our bodies have more of an alkaline affinity, and that just is what it is. Like, we got to embrace the full 360 of what it is to be an organism, a living organism. You know.
okay, okay. So basically, to sum it up, so you basically saying this whole argument about the alkaline and cancer is basically pseudo.
Well, yeah, in the case of people that are trying to, I guess, pull the wool over our eyes, so to speak, and say, no, this is scientifically true, and yes, that when people do have that approach, that's pseudo, and what I would say is beyond the credentials when it comes to something like that. If it's a specific ailment, you would have to ask, okay, give me the scientific name of whatever it is that this disease is, and then give me the scientific name of whatever you're saying is in this tonic, or whatever, uh, and then let's go look up the interactions between those two things online and see if there's any scientists that have any notes about that will actually give you the credit to say it does what it does. If not, maybe we find something else that says, well, no, that doesn't cure it, but this does, and here's tests showing that it does cure it. Then you'll be more informed. You know what I'm saying? But no, you can't just take what people are saying. You know what I'm saying? Informally out here in the streets or online or whatever. You can never just take what people are saying on face value. You would have to actually look that up for real.
Right. Oh, well, one person said something. A patient cured is a customer lost. The information is hidden. What?
I mean, again, that's too far left. You're making a lot of assumptions there. you know, and without showing any evidence for what you're talking about. But it's a very common thing. I know I probably have said it before, you know what I'm saying? It's a
Mhm.
very common saying to sort of just place the blame and say, look, there's a conspiracy as to why, you know, there's a such thing as modern medicine, and you know, and everything's supposed to be natural. But the thing is, if
I'm all for integrative medicine.
right, and that's cool, but you know,
Mhm.
because we use both modern medicine and we use what we'll call nutrition.
Herbal and
Right,
traditional.
right, which is basically nutrition. I mean, that
Mhm.
when it comes down to it, you know, we can use some herbs or different animals or whatever that are meant to be medicinal or whatever. It's basically nutrition, and yes, that does and can help certain things, right?
Mhm.
But then beyond that, you have to also have in your arsenal some modern medicine techniques. You know what I'm saying? That can do things that just eat more nutrition cannot do. You know what I'm saying? Because that's essentially what you're telling people: eat this nutrition, take these tea leaves, you know, take this tree bark, take this root, take this, eat more stuff and you're going to be cured. No, that's not how it works.
Right.
Right, eat more stuff, you can have a better chance of being healthy if you're exercising and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Eat varying things, and you know, take out some of the things that are bad. That's all good, but that doesn't take the place of acute medicine, you know, that to treat acute issues, meaning like issues that you might die from or something like that if you don't do something, you know, quick. Um, which really just most of the time involves like high concentrations of some kind of, you know, active ingredient, some kind of chemical. That's what, you know, medicines usually are. It's like one or two different ingredients that are shown to like fight whatever it is that the disease is, and they just put it in high concentration and give it to you, which you cannot get. You cannot eat enough of, you know, moringa leaves or whatever it is that you're thinking of. You cannot eat enough of it to have that same high dosage in your bloodstream at one time, which would be used to cure something. So you basically got to accept both sides of the game. You know what I'm saying? And don't beat yourself up or other people up so much about it that you would just, you know, throw the whole thing away talking about, oh, it's a conspiracy or whatever, you know. Because the fact of the matter is, a lot of the stuff that is made available for naturopathy and, you know, homeopathy and stuff like that was made available courtesy of doctors that you are constantly saying is, you know, they against you or whatever the case may be. A lot of these doctors actually is the reason why you can go to the herbal places and the pharmacy and pick up stuff over the counter that you can do to heal yourself and, you know, help with your symptoms, soothe out your cough or, you know, your pain and stuff like that. You don't even need to go to the doctor to do a lot of that stuff. You can do it all, you know, naturopathy wise. And the reason why is because some doctors have tested things and said, okay, this, we don't have to necessarily do a prescription for that. You could just do that
Right.
over the counter. You know what I'm saying? And now here you go, you know what I'm saying, with your hair wrap on, and you go into the pharmacy to get you some things, you know what I'm saying, to add to your little medical kit that you got, that you think is totally separate from doctors and stuff, but a doctor helped to make, you know, the things that you're using, you know, whether it's something simple as peroxide or whatever, which we know everybody use that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
or something more complicated like an anti-inflammatory cream or something like that, or, you know, whatever have you, teas and such. So all these people are related, man. Doctors, shamans, you know what I'm saying? People in drug culture, you know, all of these kind of people are similar in that they know that these different substances can like do different things to you and maybe they can help you. You know what I'm saying? So really y'all are closer than you think, you know, talking to the people that are like naturopaths and, you know what I'm saying, homeopathic experts or whatever. You really need to work hand in hand with modern medicine basically, and stuff that you're not ready for, that you don't want to do or whatever because you don't know enough about it, then you don't have to do it just yet. You know what I'm saying? But other people, they might understand it enough and want to take that chance. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to let them go ahead and do that. You know?
Right. And then the person put down he a meat eater. I don't ask me why. I don't understand why. I guess I mean here's the thing. You know, I feel like this. People I seen a post where somebody said that eating meat is spiritual too. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with eating meat because humans been eating meat for a long time. Now there
Yeah.
is an article that's out. I think it was a scientific article that mentioned about how when humans started consuming meat, the whole idea it was supposed to make their brain bigger or something like that, or expand the brain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but then there's not enough evidence to actually prove that that's what meat eating does, like as far as like expanding the brain itself. But the whole thing is humans been eating meat for a long time. So like you say, they was omnivores. I can't even say the word right. but
You got
but
it.
anyway,
Omnivore, yeah.
yeah, omnivores. I say it's funny when I say it, but anyways, yeah, what I'm saying, people been eating meat for a long time, so it's like it's not something that humanity gonna do all together. And like you said, if everybody was strictly eating vegetables, like if we were just all eating vegetables, then what would be available to the animals that rely on grass and
Right.
vegetables and things like that? What would be there for the animals? So it's like certain animals are here for us to eat. Now, there's certain animals you don't eat that you don't mess with. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just go around eating every animal. You know what I mean? But
Right. Nor do you have to. Nor do you even have to. Like
right,
every organism has, let's say,
we all part of the ecosystem.
has like a basket or a grouping of different things that it can possibly eat. It's not going to be everything, right? Every animal can't eat every single different type of thing, right? And that goes for plants too, right? Like we can't process cellulose, so we can't just go chewing on branches and shit and raw
Oh, of
leaves.
course.
Not too many raw leaves or whatever, unless it's certain types like spinaches and kales and stuff like that. But we can't even digest some of those things, but other animals can. um, but with omnivores, we have a much wider variety. We can go into the fungus, we can go into bacteria, obviously that comes with the fungus, plants and animals, and we can go into all of those categories and have a pretty big list of stuff that we can possibly eat, right? And then furthermore, depending on where you evolved, where different people um, got their different traits from, right, and got a lot of their mutations from, they may have adapted to eating certain things more so than others. Like certain groups, they might eat more like reindeer and stuff like that, whereas in a different area of the world, they've never eaten that before, but they might eat like pigs and lizards and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Um, and then the same thing applies with vegetables. Like if you want to use the world as an example, and you go from the poles to the equator, the people
Mm-hmm.
up at the poles, they're adapted to eating more meat. So like Eskimos and people like that, Siberians and such, a lot of the Native Americans, they are adapted, right? They have livers that process fat, high amounts of fat, like blubber. Like they might kill whales or seals or whatever, sea lions that have a lot of fat, and they can just eat a lot of that. Which some other types of people, they're not really adapted to eating so much fat, animal fat that is. Um, and then you go further down, into Central America, whatever the case may be, down into sub-Saharan Africa, you start getting more people that are eating more starches, more roots, more um, nuts, and stuff like that, carbohydrates at a pretty high rate. They still eat meat too, but maybe not as much as somebody that's from the north that eats like a gang of meat. You feel me? Like every day, a gang of meat. And then the veggies that they do get might come from the stomach contents of an animal because they live in the snow where there's not really a lot of plants. So then they get in the plants that the animal had already ate before they killed it. You know what I'm saying? That's part of how we adapt as humans, is to also do that practice. And those of us at the equator also do those same things, which is why we have those dishes that consist of, you know what I'm saying, the intestines and stomach and stuff like that, because now you're getting those nutrients that you could not get if you ate grass and stuff like that. But you let them eat the grass and stuff, then you eat them, and then you're getting a lot of this stuff that you couldn't get on your own. You know what I'm saying? So there's a, for the people that like this use of language, there's an alchemy, you know, about how you're eating everything, including meat. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a spiritualness about that, right? In a sense of awe and wonderment in that, as much as there is in plants as well. You know what I'm saying? Which plants want you not to eat them more than animals want you not to eat them, which is why they develop defensive mechanisms, whether it's physical thorns or whatever, little things that get stuck in your throat and shit like that, irritate your skin, or poison, right? Just straight up, you eat this, you'll die, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. There's more of that going on in the plant kingdom than there is in the animal kingdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just lets you know that we've basically been eating meat for a long time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that goes for a lot of the organisms, even a lot of the herbivores, like, you know, buffaloes and stuff like that. They're still eating bugs and shit, and those are animals. You know what I'm saying? They might eat a lizard while they're chewing on a patch of green. You know what I'm saying? On accident, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Some eggs or whatever that's in the grass. So we need to get out of thinking that there's some cut and dry, like that's a modern thing, to sift through your food and be like, oh, this has a piece of this in it, I'm not going to eat it. We never did that. Everything would be mixed. We had some greens mixed in there with some damn bugs, some slugs or something like that, some kind of meat. Like all of these things got ate. Seafood, it's they're in our stomachs when you go open up the grave sites and stuff, you know, of prehistoric people. Is
Mm-hmm.
you're finding these animals in our stomach, you know what I'm saying?
Because
Because
again, we are part of the ecosystem.
we're all part of the ecosystem, and we are found in the stomachs of these different animals as well, because they ate our ass too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Goldie says it the best. I remember when I had a conversation when he said that, when our body like decompose, break down and stuff like that, it becomes the fossil fuel, right? And it turns into a natural gas.
Yes, yeah. So he was going into how we turn into energy, essentially how we turn into ATP, you know, like all of our molecules, which are combinations of different atoms, they all kind of break down into the individual atoms that they are and go back into the ground. So the phosphorus that's in us, the calcium, the magnesium, so on and so forth, all the different things, they break down to their lowest common denominator, right, into these sugars and these, you know, whatever it is, these fatty acids and stuff, and eventually go back into the substrate, into the soil. You know, the animals and the plants, all of them are eating off of that. You know what I'm saying? So that, I mean, that's ultimately what happens to your physical. You know what I mean? Without speaking of anything, you know, to do with your mind or anything like that, but your physical, yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. So, bars and chains. Your question is, where is his source? Well, he pretty much gave you the source right there. Just you just have to you have to do your own. You know what I'm saying? You have to go back and look
Just
into
look
this
at biology.
information.
Look
Look
at,
at
you can
biology.
look up what happens when your body decomposes. You know, look up something, stuff like that. uh Decomposition,
Right.
what chemicals are produced when your body decomposes or whatever. Look up stuff like that, and then you'll kind of see what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. 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 You got a point. Like you said,
Mhm.
like I said, we part of the ecosystem, and our body is going to go back into its natural state, go back to the earth, you know what I mean, go back into the soil and all of
Correct.
that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yep. So all right. Well, you know what? There we have it, the information about where the
Mhm.
evidence. So until I can see some medical research, right? Until I can
Mhm.
see some proof about how alkaline make it hard for cancer, or where cancer cannot survive and any other disease. And then this is when the question becomes, well, why do we still deal with the corona, the Omicron, and the Delta variant if it can't? I mean, if it can't survive in the
And
Alkaline.
that's not even cancer. That's that's a virus. That's a totally different living organism. Whereas cancer, that's your own cells. That's your own
Right,
cells that are growing abnormally. So don't forget that either. Cancer is different than what a virus is. You know what I mean?
right.
And there is ways to kill at least with viruses, right? We found ways to kill them, but that doesn't mean that we have a way to kill every single one, or that we ever will. But it's okay to try to have these people looking and seeing if there's a way to go ahead and kill it, right?
Well, virus, they don't necessarily die, they mutate.
Right. They mutate at a great rate. You're right. So that makes it even harder to eradicate them. So the couple that we might have eradicated, that's really more. We got lucky, that the virus wasn't more virulent than what it was or whatever. But yeah, it's an uproad battle to try to eradicate something like that. Because in the grand scheme, nature is going to reclaim nature at the end of the day. So there's going to be things that you can't get away from, and that don't matter. That goes for if you do modern medicine or if you do naturopathy. What I'm saying? Don't matter. You can't escape some shit. What I'm saying? Sometimes the shaman, he can't heal you. You sick and you just fall out and die. You feel me? But that's part of life though. You got to appreciate that. You feel me? You got to still give thanks on that. What I'm saying? So when you want to really get into my philosophical views on that, that's where that lies. What I'm saying? That you're not gonna kill everything, but it's okay to let people try in whatever lane that they want to try it in. And if it can be used, then the people will damn use it. What I'm saying? And you'll see the proof. What I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Mr. Triz. Thank you for coming by. I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. If there's anything that you suggest as far as like reading materials is concerned, like what books people should look into, this pertain to certain subject matter that
I'm gonna keep it real funky with you, and because I'm not gonna get into read this person, that person, and get into the personalities, right? Which we know there's a lot of them, and I have people that I watch and read or whatever. But I would just say start with basic academic textbooks or media videos, whatever that you can find about basic biology, right? About basic biology. That's it. And then go from there to now you can study viruses and bacteria and, fungus and plants and animals, the differences and the similarities and all that kind of stuff. But just kind of start there, man. That's what I would say. Too many people is looking for, who's the person that's going to write the book that's going to have all the answers. And it's not that easy. And that's shameful for us to think that something is going to be that easy. You know what I'm saying?
well, that's the best advice that you can give. That's the best
Yes, sir.
advice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, then. Well, I hope you have a good evening. I appreciate you coming through. So, we'll reconnect some other
Yes,
time. All
ma'am.
right,
Thank you
whenever
for
you're
having me.
available. All
Yeah,
right,
thank you
then.
for having me.
All right,
As
then.
always, Team
Peace.
Osiris up. Peace.
All right, then. Peace. All right, then. Yep. So that was a beautiful discussion right there with the brother. I just wanted to read something really fast before I even click off of here. To go back to what I was talking about, does alkaline diet prevent cancer? So there's an article here. This article is from, and let me share this article really fast. Cause this pretty much kind of sums up what brother Triz was talking about. Okay. All right. So it says the alkaline diet, another cancer and diet claim, right? And the question is, does eating an alkalizing diet help prevent cancer? I've never read a medical study that says this is the case, but boy, there's a lot of books toting eating foods that alkalize the body? Is there merit to this, or is it just the fact that most alkalizing food happens to be vegetables, that this way of eating may help prevent cancer? Which is a great question. Again, this comes from the American Institute for Cancer Research. All right. And it says the alkaline diet is one that has proved to be popular in celebrity culture, with claims that the diet can help protect the body against medical conditions such as cancer and arthritis, as well as help you lose weight. The diet is supposedly able to protect you against cancer because it reduces the amount of acid your body produces. This theory is based on the claim that cancer cells thrive in an acidic environment and can't survive an alkaline surrounding. So alkalizing diet would promote a more alkaline environment in the body and prevent cancer from developing. However, there are problems with this claim. Check it out. The studies finding that cancer cells thrive in an acidic environment were done in a laboratory setting. Your body is very good at maintaining its pH levels without dietary influence. It would be nearly impossible to alter the cell environment to create a less acidic environment in our bodies. For example, the stomach is very acidic for proper digestion, so we wouldn't want it more alkaline. Okay, so that's one claim, right? All right, here's the second claim. Here's the second one. It says our acid-base balance is well regulated. Blood pH is tightly controlled normally by the body between 7.35 and 7.45. If the pH level becomes too acidic or alkaline, that could be life-threatening and is typically an indication of a serious health problem, though it's not the underlying cause. All right. Then go on to say it's actually very difficult for you to change the pH levels in your blood, as your body works hard to regulate and maintain these levels. Other areas of your body contain different levels of acidity, with your stomach being more acidic in order to break down any food you consume. So hissle or whistle, you might stick to a straight alkaline diet. The payoff may not be what you expected. Okay. All right. So then it goes on to say the diet does encourage an individual to eat healthily, owing to emphasis on fruit and vegetables and avoidance of processed foods. So it does help with weight loss. However, it doesn't have strong influence over the pH balance of your body. So you know what? So with that being said, that answers the question. That answers the question as far as can cancer survive in alkaline diet. So pretty much cancer can survive both in alkaline and the acidic environment. Okay. So this goes to show you, just because you're doing an alkaline diet does not mean that you can cure cancer. All right. Or cure any form of disease. Okay. So, and you taking away a lot of acid that you need in your body. So, for example, our stomach is made of acid because it has to be able to break down the foods, things like that. Of course, our DNA is consists of acid. If we don't have acid in our body, then how are we going to survive? Without DNA, you're not gonna ever exist. That's your genetic makeup, and you can't never get rid of your DNA. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, that dispels this whole mythology about cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment or any other disease. Okay, so that dispels this whole thing that Dr. Sabi, Dr. Africa, and many other was talking about this alkaline diet and stuff. It dispels that myth. Okay, all you gotta do is look for the clinical research. So my advice for you guys, anytime somebody come to you with these type of information, look for clinical research. Ask about their credential, because anybody can tell you something. Where is your credential to verify that? Or better yet, go to a doctor. Go to a medical expert and ask them before you even attempt, especially if you have serious illness that's going on. Go to a doctor and talk to your doctor before you even try to do something different. okay? Before you try to do an alkaline diet or any other type of diet, get a suggestion. Get advice from your doctor. See what he or she recommends for you, okay? That's what you want to do to be on the safe side. But don't fall for the quackery. Don't fall for the snake oil. You got to always ask questions. And that's the main key, because you're only going to be able to find out the answer just by asking questions, not taking things at face value. All right. So again, for those who out here trying to market that stuff, what you're doing is very detrimental. If you're not going to be able to back up what you say, then you need to stop it. You don't need to be out here marketing your product, because there's going to be people that's going to question, where is your credential? Where is your clinical research? How did you come to this conclusion? And if you're not able to answer the question, then your stuff do not need to be on the market. People do not need to buy your products, okay? People don't need to support your business or your brand. And that's all I got to say. All right, so with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight, watching. That concludes this topic. And I want to thank Brother Tris for coming on here and giving some great information. Like I said, that brother does a good job. He know how to break this stuff down better than I do. So I hear him talk about it a lot. So yeah. So shout out to Brother Tris. I want to thank him again for coming through and just having this little dialogue with me. All right. So outside of that, y'all take it easy on yourselves. Be safe. And whatever diet you do, make sure you balance yourself. Don't do too much of this. Don't do too much of that. Balance yourself. Balance your body, because remember, your health is your wealth. Take care of your body. Okay? I'm not a health expert. Neither is Triz. But we know enough information to know that we have to be careful what we consume. We have to be careful who we listen to when it comes to certain stuff. We have to be able to ask. All right. So, and it doesn't hurt to do so. If people got a problem with you asking questions about their products, about their item, then you don't need to buy it. You don't need to support them. You need to get the hell away from them. Because 9 times out of 10, they be trying to sell you some snake oil. They might try to sell you some shit that might goddamn destroy you. You got people out there with the diploma mills. Diploma mills mean fake degrees, okay? So you got people out there that fake that they got a degree in something, and you come to find out they ain't even legitimized in that shit. So make sure you guys do your homework assignment, all right? Be safe. Be careful, okay? Because we still dealing with this pandemic, all right? So be careful and be safe out here. And until next time, peace and power, elevation be to all of you. This your girl, Tiffany. And I'm logging off by saying deuces. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all, all right? Be safe. And I will reconnect with you all. All right.